Getting a process in place to onboard new clients can feel really overwhelming, but it is so important. Having a set process helps you look organized and professional to your new client, as well as really helps set you and your new client up for success in this new relationship. I'm going to walk through the onboarding process that we use inside of Empowered CEO, and I hope that this helps you set up your own onboarding process or even improve upon a process that you already have. I'm Paris Hanvey, Operations Assistant for Megan Menz and Accountability Advisor inside of our group coaching program, Empowered CEO. We help online business owners get out of the weeds of their business and step into the role of CEO. I am so excited to have the opportunity to talk with you today about having a supportive onboarding process in place for your new clients. Have you ever been really excited to sign up for a program? You go in, you pay for it, and then there is radio silence. You are waiting for hours, sometimes days, to even receive a confirmation that your payment went through, and you're left wondering, what now? Did I make a mistake? Have I invested in the wrong program, in the wrong coach? Is this how the communication is going to be throughout the program? Yikes! We want to make sure our clients feel really supported from the minute they enroll so that they can hit the ground running and they're not left wondering, did I make a mistake? There are 3 steps when building out your onboarding process. Step 1 is determining what steps need to be included in your onboarding process. Step 2 is what tech or tools you're going to use in order to execute that process. And step 3 is determining what your follow-up process is going to be to ensure that your clients take those necessary steps. So step 1, determining what steps you need inside of your onboarding process. I'm going to be talking through our onboarding process for Empowered CEO, but whether you are a course creator, a coach, or service provider, you may need to tweak this a little bit to fit your process. So when someone enrolls in Empowered CEO, they receive 2 emails from us. The first email is their welcome email, and the second email is their onboarding email. So what are in those emails? In the welcome email, it is really simple. We are just doing 2 things. We are providing the login details for our membership site so that our clients can jump in and access the curriculum right away. And the second thing that we are doing is we are planting the seed for them to expect a second email from us. So in our welcome email, we have a sentence right here that says, please keep an eye out for your onboarding email that you should receive in the next few minutes. That email will include all of the information you need to get started and your next steps to take. And the reason that that is so important is because we want them to know that they're getting another email from us that requires them to take action. So now they're more likely to keep an eye on their email, to check their email, and to see when that email comes through, and less likely to miss it. So what's included in the onboarding email? In our onboarding email, we have the 5 steps that we need every new client to take once they enroll. Step 1 is to make sure that they sign the agreement. So here we can just click the link for them to review the program agreement and sign it. You can see that it opens up a new tab in HelloSign that brings up our template. All they have to do is put their email address in, and they can go ahead and get started completing that agreement. Step number 2 is all of our clients need to complete their new client questionnaire. You go ahead and click the link there in the email. It'll go ahead and bring up our questionnaire from Google Forms, and they can complete it right there. All of the questions that are included in our questionnaire help our coaching team in creating our action plan for that client to make sure that they are successful in the program. You can see for both our new client questionnaire and the agreement, we let them know that we need those things back within 24 hours. So we're giving a deadline on that. Step number 3 is we want our clients to join our Facebook group. So the private Facebook group for Empowered CEO is great for our clients to get support from one another, to socialize with the other members and network, as well as to post anything that they're working on to get feedback, not only from our coaching team, but from the other members in the program as well. Step 4 is we want all of our clients to subscribe to our Empowered CEO shared calendar. Our shared calendar is where we add all of the dates for our weekly coaching calls, any guest expert trainings that we have, any planning workshops that we have coming up. All of the calls inside of Empowered CEO will be added to that shared calendar. And that way, your client doesn't have to worry about going into their calendar and adding each individual event. When they subscribe to your shared calendar, all of those dates get added on there, and any dates that you add in the future will also get added to their calendar. And that way your clients are more likely to show up and engage on those calls versus saying they missed it because they didn't get a chance to add it to their calendar. calendar. And the final step 5, is to schedule your group orientation call. On our orientation calls, we go over the logistics of the program as well as answer any questions that they may have up to that point. Our orientation call is a chance for us to check and make sure that our clients have completed their first steps. And if not, we have an opportunity to reiterate that to our clients and maybe even give them time to do it on the call. So for example, if I'm on an orientation call with someone and I notice that they haven't joined our Facebook group, I may give them the opportunity and say, hey, why don't you go ahead and pull out your phone while we're on the call together and go ahead and request to join our Facebook group. I can accept it right here, and that way you're in. And so if it's something simple like that, I'll give them the time and space on our call for them to complete that, and that's one less thing that they have to do once they're off the call. If it's something like the new client questionnaire where I want them to spend more time and give that a little bit more thought, then I'll let them know, hey, it's no problem that you haven't completed that yet. I'll reiterate the importance of it, and then I'll give them another 24-hour deadline and let them know if you have any questions or you can't access it, let me know. And I won't tell them that I'll follow up in 24 hours. I'll just make a mental note to make sure to follow up in 24 hours so that I can be sure that that new client questionnaire is completed. All right, so that's everything that's included in our welcome email and our onboarding email, and that is our onboarding process. So now that we've determined what steps we have in our onboarding process, we need to decide what tools or tech we're going to use. So for Empowered CEO, we use kind of an all-in-one platform called Kartra. It hosts the curriculum for our membership site. That is where people purchase the program. That is where we send our emails. Everything is in that one platform. But I am going to go over some individual tools that you can use as well. So if we're talking about contracts, then there are several options. You can see from our example that we use HelloSign. There's also DocuSign or Adobe Sign. Really, any tool out there that collects or captures a digital signature is going to work perfectly for this. For invoicing, you can use something like Wave, Stripe invoicing, PayPal invoicing. If you wanted an all-in-one, you could use something like Kartra, Dubsado, or Honeybook. Either of those will work for you. And then when it comes to how you're sending out emails, so we have two, the welcome email and the onboarding email. Again, we use Kartra, but there is ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, any email management system that you want to use, you can do that. And something else that I want to talk about is when you are starting out, you may want to do these things manually. You may want to use the free versions of some of these tools, and that's totally fine. But something that I want to keep in mind, in the back of our mind, is eventually we're going to want to get to the point where our onboarding happens 100% independent of you. How can we send those emails automatically, send those contracts automatically? And like I said, that may not be something that happens in the very beginning of your business, but as you grow and as you get more and more clients into your programs, more and more clients into your offers or your services, then you're going to want to automate this because you're going to want to spend less time doing the admin. So we're going to think about how can this run independently of you. So when you're thinking about how to automate contracts, for example, we have a template in HelloSign. It's the same link every time. That's the link that we include in our onboarding email so that they can just click it and sign the email versus sending out individual contracts for each person. Something else that you could do is you could automate the email part of it. So once someone purchases or enrolls in your program, they get a specific tag, which starts the automation that sends those emails. And that way, once they've purchased it, it's hands off for you. And there's nothing that you have to do other than the follow-up and maybe the orientation call, or maybe you have someone else on your team, like your program coordinator, doing that for you. All right, so we've gone over step 1, determining what needs to be included in your onboarding process. We've talked about determining what tools or tech you want to use to execute that process. And now we need to make sure that we have a really solid follow-up process for this. So I've already given a sneak peek a little bit into what our follow-up process looks like. But the very first step in that follow-up process is actually our orientation call with our client. Like I said, on our orientation call, we reiterate all of the first steps. Our program coordinator, which is me at the moment, actually, I prepare before those orientation calls to go through and see, has the contract been signed? Has the questionnaire been completed? And if not, I'm able to bring that up on the call and reiterate the importance of it. And again, let them know, hey, make sure it's completed. Like maybe you can do that right after this call. And it just gives us an additional opportunity to talk about it. Outside of our orientation calls, in our welcome emails, you can see that our accountability advisors aren't going to be assigned to our clients until some of those things are completed. So our accountability advisors inside of Empowered CEO is actually the one-on-one support that you get. It's our our team of empowered CEO coaches that work with our clients one-on-one. So that is something that does not get assigned until after the new client questionnaire is completed and the contract is signed. And that's another way we hold ourselves accountable and our clients accountable. And then the third thing is the program coordinator we have a dashboard in Notion where we have all of our new clients and where they are in their onboarding process, what steps they've completed and what steps still need to be completed. That is something that we look at every day and that we are following up on every day, because as the service provider, as the coach, as the CEO, it is our job to make sure that our clients are completing the onboarding process. We don't want to leave it to the clients because that is how things fall through the cracks. What we don't want to happen is we don't want to have to revisit our contract maybe 3 months into our relationship together, go back, try to find that contract and realize that it was never signed. And then that's like a whole nother realm of like frustration and what do we do now? So in order to not have that happen on the back end, we are going to be the drivers of this process, and we are going to make sure that we are following up and making sure that all of the steps have been completed by our clients. So I'd love to hear from you. Do you currently have an onboarding process in place that sets your clients up for success? Did you learn anything or take anything away from this video that you're going to go and apply to your onboarding process right now? Leave it in the comments below. Now, creating an awesome onboarding process is just one step in growing your business. But if you really want to see growth in your business this year, make sure to click and watch the video that is on the screen right now, where Megan shares the 7 habits you need to start incorporating into your life. You are going to love these.